Welcome to Lesson 7.5 of the Grant Architect course. In this lesson, we explore qualitative methods for program evaluation, examining approaches that generate rich, detailed data about participant experiences and program processes. While quantitative methods tell us how many and how much, qualitative methods tell us how and why. Qualitative methods are essential for understanding the meaning of program experiences from participant perspectives, exploring how programs work or fail to work, identifying unexpected effects and implementation challenges, and providing context for interpreting quantitative findings. Many funders increasingly expect evaluation plans to include qualitative components that complement quantitative outcome measurement. By the end of this lesson, you will understand major qualitative methods including interviews, focus groups, and case studies, principles of qualitative rigor, and how to incorporate qualitative evaluation into your proposals. What are qualitative methods and what distinctive contributions do they make to program evaluation? Qualitative methods collect and analyze non-numerical data including words, images, and observations. They emphasize depth over breadth, seeking detailed understanding of experiences and processes rather than statistical generalization. Strengths of qualitative methods include capturing participant perspectives and meanings, exploring complex processes and relationships, identifying unexpected findings not anticipated in advance, and providing rich description that brings programs to life for readers. These strengths make qualitative methods valuable for understanding how programs work. Limitations of qualitative methods include smaller sample sizes that limit generalizability, potential for researcher bias in data collection and interpretation, time-intensive data collection and analysis, and challenges in demonstrating rigor to audiences unfamiliar with qualitative standards. These limitations suggest combining qualitative with quantitative approaches. Common qualitative methods in evaluation include interviews ranging from structured to unstructured, focus groups gathering multiple perspectives simultaneously, observation of program activities, document review, and case studies examining particular instances in depth. Different methods suit different evaluation questions. Mixed methods research has grown substantially as evaluators recognize that complex questions often require multiple approaches. The mixing occurs intentionally, not simply using both quantitative and qualitative methods independently. True mixed methods integrate components at one or more stages, including design, data collection, analysis, or interpretation. Integration distinguishes mixed methods from multi-method studies that keep approaches separate. Different situations call for qualitative methods. Exploration means understanding new or complex phenomena. When you do not know what to expect, qualitative methods help you discover. They are good for early-stage inquiry. Explanation means understanding why outcomes occurred. Quantitative methods tell you what changed. Qualitative methods help you understand why. They complement outcome data. Context means capturing local conditions and meanings. Numbers abstract away from context. Qualitative methods preserve it. Understanding context aids interpretation. Voice means representing participant perspectives. What do participants think and feel? Qualitative methods let them speak. Complementarity uses mixed methods to gain fuller understanding by examining different facets of a phenomenon. Quantitative methods might measure extent, while qualitative methods explore meaning. Complementary findings illuminate different aspects without requiring convergence. Expansion uses different methods for different evaluation questions within the same study, expanding the range of inquiry beyond what any single method could address effectively. Sequential explanatory design collects and analyzes quantitative data first, then uses qualitative data to explain or elaborate on quantitative findings. This design works well when quantitative results raise questions that qualitative inquiry can address. For example, if survey data show unexpected variation in outcomes across sites, follow-up interviews or observations might reveal contextual factors explaining the variation. The quantitative phase typically has priority in this design, with qualitative serving a supplementary role. Integration occurs during the qualitative design phase when quantitative results inform qualitative sampling and protocols, and during interpretation when qualitative findings explain quantitative patterns. Strengths of this design include its logical flow, clear stages, and ability to explore unexpected findings. Challenges include the extended timeline required for sequential phases and the risk that quantitative findings provide insufficient guidance for qualitative design. Convergent parallel design collects quantitative and qualitative data concurrently with equal priority, then integrates findings during interpretation. This design efficiently gathers comprehensive data within a single phase. Quantitative and qualitative components address related but distinct aspects of the evaluation questions. Integration reveals where findings converge, providing mutual corroboration, and where they diverge, requiring exploration of reasons for discrepancy. Convergent design works well when seeking comprehensive understanding of a phenomenon from multiple perspectives simultaneously. It suits situations where both breadth of quantitative data and depth of qualitative data are needed. Challenges include the need for expertise in both methods, the complexity of managing parallel data collection, and the intellectual challenge of meaningful integration. Planning integration from the start rather than treating components as separate studies increases the likelihood of successful convergence. Key informant interviews gather information from individuals with special knowledge about your program or context. These interviews typically involve program staff, community leaders, or others whose positions give them valuable perspectives. Key informant selection requires identifying people whose knowledge or perspectives are essential for understanding what you want to learn. Consider position, experience, and access to relevant information. Include diverse perspectives rather than only those likely to agree. Interview structure for key informants often uses semi-structured approaches with predetermined topics, but flexibility to pursue emergent themes. This balances consistency across interviews with responsiveness to what each informant knows. Key informant interview guides include open-ended questions about relevant topics, probes for depth and clarification, and flexibility to explore unexpected information. Test guides before full implementation. Building rapport enables key informants to share candidly. Establish the purpose of the interview, explain how information will be used, address confidentiality, and create an atmosphere that encourages honest reflection. Key informant limitations include potential bias from positions that give informants stakes in particular interpretations. Triangulate key informant data with other sources to strengthen conclusions. Notation systems describe mixed methods designs concisely. Capital letters indicate priority with quan or qual showing dominance. Plus signs indicate concurrent collection while arrows indicate sequential collection. Parentheses indicate embedded components. For example, quan plus qual indicates concurrent collection with quantitative priority, while qual arrow quan indicates sequential design starting with dominant qualitative phase. Interview techniques affect data quality. Open questions encourage elaboration and explanation. Ask how and why questions that invite extended responses. Avoid yes or no questions. Probing follows up for depth and clarity. When answers are vague or incomplete, probe for more. Can you tell me more about that? What do you mean by that? Active listening demonstrates engagement and understanding. Nodding, brief verbal acknowledgments, and reflecting back show you are listening. Listening builds rapport. Neutrality avoids leading or judgmental responses. Your reaction should not suggest preferred answers. Remain neutral even when responses surprise you. Data integration represents the heart of mixed methods and distinguishes it from simply using multiple methods in parallel. Integration can occur at design, methods, interpretation, or reporting levels. Design-level integration involves intentionally designing the study so that quantitative and qualitative components inform each other. Methods-level integration connects data collection across approaches such as using survey results to select interview participants. Interpretation-level integration involves comparing, contrasting, and synthesizing findings from different data sources to develop more complete understanding. Reporting-level integration presents quantitative and qualitative findings together rather than in separate sections, showing how they relate and what integrated conclusions emerge. Joint displays are visual tools that facilitate integration by presenting quantitative and qualitative data together in matrices or figures that reveal patterns across data types. Effective integration requires planning from the study design phase rather than attempting to combine disparate findings after the fact. Qualitative data analysis transforms raw qualitative data into meaningful findings through systematic examination of text, images, or observations. Analysis is not merely summarizing data, but interpreting patterns and meanings. Coding is the fundamental qualitative analysis operation, assigning labels to segments of data that represent concepts or themes. Codes can derive from theory, prior research, evaluation questions, or emerge from the data itself. Systematic coding ensures consistent treatment of data. Thematic analysis identifies patterns across coded data, organizing codes into broader themes that capture important findings. Themes should be distinct, comprehensive, and clearly defined. Theme development involves moving from specific codes to broader patterns. Analytical frameworks provide structured approaches to qualitative analysis. Framework analysis, for example, develops a matrix displaying cases and themes to enable systematic comparison. Other approaches include grounded theory, phenomenological analysis, and narrative analysis. Computer-assisted qualitative data analysis software such as NVivo, Atlas.ti, or Deduce helps manage and analyze large qualitative data sets. Software facilitates systematic coding and retrieval but does not replace analytical thinking. The researcher still makes interpretive decisions. Documentation throughout analysis creates an audit trail showing how conclusions developed from raw data. This documentation supports transparency and enables quality assessment. Joint displays present quantitative and qualitative findings together to facilitate integration and comparison. Matrix displays align quantitative and qualitative findings by theme, case, or question. Side-by-side displays show related findings in adjacent columns or panels. Joint displays make integration visible to readers and help evaluators identify convergence, divergence, and complementarity across data types. Embedded designs nest one method within a larger study employing the other method. The supplementary method provides information that enhances the primary method. For example, a primarily quantitative intervention study might embed qualitative interviews with selected participants to understand their experiences. The embedded component addresses questions the primary method cannot answer well. In quantitative studies, embedded qualitative components often explore participant perspectives, implementation processes, or unexpected findings. In qualitative studies, embedded quantitative components often establish prevalence, examine patterns across a larger sample, or provide outcome data. The embedded method has secondary status in design priority and usually smaller scope. Integration occurs by connecting embedded findings to the primary study findings they illuminate or explain. Common qualitative mistakes undermine findings. Leading questions suggest answers to participants. If your questions imply what you want to hear, you will hear it. Craft neutral questions. Inadequate sampling uses too few or unrepresentative informants. If you only talk to supporters, you will only hear positive views. Sample deliberately to capture diverse perspectives. Surface analysis describes without interpreting. Listing what people said is not analysis. Interpretation explains what it means. Anecdotal reporting uses selective quotes without systematic analysis. Cherry-picking quotes that support your conclusion is not rigorous. Analyze all data systematically. Reporting mixed methods research requires attention to both components and their integration. Describe the rationale for choosing mixed methods over single method approaches. Present methods sections addressing both quantitative and qualitative procedures. Integrate findings in results or discussion rather than presenting them in isolation. Address how integration enhanced understanding beyond what either approach alone could provide. Mixed methods quality criteria extend beyond the separate criteria for quantitative and qualitative components to address integration quality specifically. Legitimation refers to the quality of meta-inferences that combine findings across quantitative and qualitative strands. Multiple legitimation types have been identified. Sample integration legitimation concerns whether the quantitative and qualitative samples are related appropriately for the research questions. Weakness minimization legitimation concerns whether the weakness of one approach is compensated by strength of the other. Paradigm mixing legitimation concerns whether different philosophical assumptions underlying quantitative and qualitative approaches are addressed thoughtfully. Commensurability legitimation concerns whether findings from different approaches can meaningfully be compared and combined. Addressing these legitimation concerns requires explicit attention throughout the study, from design through interpretation. Presenting qualitative methods in proposals requires specificity. Methods describe what qualitative approaches you will use: focus groups, interviews, case studies, observation. Name your methods. Sampling specifies who will participate and how you will select them. How many informants? From what groups? How will you recruit them? Purposive sampling is typical. Data collection explains how you will gather qualitative data, who will conduct interviews, where will focus groups occur, what recording methods will you use. Analysis describes how you will analyze qualitative data, what coding approach, what software, how will you identify themes. Transformative and multi-phase designs address complex evaluation questions requiring extended programs of inquiry. Transformative designs foreground social justice concerns and involve communities as partners in the research process. They employ whatever methods best serve participatory and emancipatory goals. Transformative approaches challenge traditional research hierarchies and center historically marginalized voices. Multi-phase designs conduct multiple studies over extended periods, with each study informing the next. A developmental sequence might progress from exploratory qualitative research to instrument development to pilot testing to full implementation evaluation. Each phase builds on preceding phases. Multi-phase designs suit complex programs requiring extended evaluation attention. They allow learning and adaptation across phases while maintaining coherent inquiry. The extended timeline of multi-phase designs challenges traditional funding and reporting structures. Let us summarize the key points from this lesson. Qualitative methods produce rich descriptive data. They answer questions about how and why, providing depth and context that numbers miss. Key approaches include focus groups, interviews, and case studies. Each has strengths and limitations. Choose based on your questions and resources. Rigor in qualitative research addresses credibility, transferability, dependability, and confirmability. These parallel quantitative concepts of validity and reliability. In our next lesson, we will explore mixed methods design, focusing on how to combine quantitative and qualitative approaches for maximum validity.